on our appropriation ordinance. Just a couple of things that are highlighted. We had Adams Cable Equipment Company for $6,574. That had to do with the internet utility. We had Algar Martin and Associates, various projects that they are working on for us, and it is $96,314.37. We have Ashland Tree Expert Company, $10,795. BG Consultants, this is payment number 13. This is on a CDBG, the multi-use trail, $6,216. Delta Dental of Kansas, these are for some dental claims, $4,307.10. G&G Dozier, $1,000. These are for several properties, nuisance cleanup. We then have Grand River Dam Authority, $2,651,207.48. We have, then we have Hunter Glenn. We've paid him $4,070. Once again, this is for nuisance cleanup. So that's $5,000 just this past month that we have done that. That comes out of the trash, I believe. But it's taxpayer money going for people that don't clean up their property. Irrigation and turf equipment. This is several mowers that we had approved earlier for the golf course, $22,650. Kansas Department of Revenue. This is for sales tax collections that we did during the month of February, $56,047.18. Key Equipment and Supply. This has to do with some various vehicles, parts, brooms, sewer cleaner, so forth, and the 2025 Vector sewer cleaner that we had approved of, $417,063.06. Cone Construction Services, this is pay application number 1. This is for the multi-use trail, $33,830. Meriton Health, this is for health claims paid through March 24th, $146,587.14. Midwest Electric Transformer, this is for several transformers that we have purchased, $76,025.86. Olson Associates, this is payment number 3 for the transformer replacement, $29,664.94. Southwest Power Pool, this is conjunction with Grand River Dam Authority, the transmission service, $784,633.25. And we have Worldwide Diesel Power Incorporated. This is payment number 7 on the maintenance for the 2 generators out at the new generation plant, the 18K and 24K, $32,174.52. We also had payroll amounting to $401,720.70. And then for people that really look this over, there were many, 70-some, refunds on golf carts. Something had been accidentally overcharged or not charged correctly, so all of those people were refunded that money. It was $40 each. So if you noticed it in there, for anybody that's listening, that's what those refunds were for.
Questions?
And I move to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion's made by Commissioner Faulkner, seconded by Mayor Maples, to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
We will now have comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have any comments?
We do. I asked Alicia Melton to come this evening. As you know, city staff, for this will be our second year in a row, they came up with a great plan that we, the commission, approved of, is paying the electricity for the warming center only from, I believe it's November through the end of March. Is that correct? Or-
For the first year, we had put those month stipulations on it.
Okay.
For this last one that it was approved, we didn't put a stipulation for the month, so
Okay.
it's throughout the year to that
Throughout
amount.
the year, okay, for this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that they were very busy this year during January, February especially.
Oh, my
So,
goodness, yes.
hopefully it's calmed down for you now, but I would like her, I asked her to please come and give a report on how things were at the warming center so that people know what all that these great people do for others in our community.
Right. So my right-hand man here, this is Miss Nola. She keeps me in line. December, we were open 12 days and closed 18, and that doesn't add up to 31, but it's because holidays. We had 14 guests and served a total of about 100 meals in December. January, we were open 30 days. And with a guest count of 78 people served. Meals, total meals served, close to 350 for in January. February, we split right down the middle, open 14, closed 14. We had 40 guests. In meals served, we're around 250. I'm rounding those for you guys. But yes, we were extremely busy this year. I think poor Miss Nola lived there most of the winter for me because I work in Caney. And so she holds down the fort when I can't be there. We were open 24/7 for what? 2 weeks, 4 weeks this year?
I think 4 weeks.
Four weeks total this year. And that's, around the clock. 3 meals a day, beds, taking people to get showers, whatever it was we needed. The community, again, was absolutely amazing in bringing in food items to help us feed everybody and cash donations to go toward the gas utility and those kind of things. It was amazing. Everything went great. Someone even started a Touch of Life Warming Center credit line at the hitching post to help us. They just started going in and giving them money to donate. They're like, we don't know what to do to help, but we want to help. So they opened up a credit line and let people donate towards that. So when we need something, we have a little bit of cash there to go pick up whatever we might need if they have it. And we're also, that's Warming Center. We are expanding services this summer. We're going to be doing a 6-week personal financial course. We are working on doing some cooking classes like how to make your food stretch for budget cooking classes. Miss Nola here has just gotten approved to do substance abuse groups at our building. We're also going to do some like a craft brunch day, because when it comes to our people that are impoverished or those that are coming out of addiction or things like that, they need something healthy to do without having to spend a bunch of money. And so that's how we're kind of going to start trying to do some of those wraparound services. Okay, I went through rehab. Now what? I'm right back in this circle surrounded by all the things. And there's no other options really for me in town because I don't have money to go do this. So we're working, that's what we're doing this summer. And of course, August we'll have our back to school shoe thing again and our Christmas dinner baskets again. We're growing and doing great, and Coffeyville has been good at supporting us. Miss Nola's got the thrift store open now as well. Do you want to share about that, please? That's yours, dear.
I'm Nola Butler. I run the thrift store at 209 Eldridge.
Yeah.
I'm there Monday through Friday, 10 to 2, and I'm also helping people on top of doing the thrift store with resources my goal is to try to help as many people as I can to get them off the streets and living normal lives to be productive here in Coffeyville.
Yes, we were able to help at the NATO Fest this past weekend, and it was great for us to be there as a face to go with the Warming Center, but also networking opportunities for us in getting the, other information and services that, hey, we can contact these people if we run into this issue. That was a really great asset for us, so. Do you guys have any questions, concerns?
Do you cook there?
Yes.
You do have the facilities?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
We have full kitchen. We also have our washer dryer hooked up now.
Awesome.
Our missions team is coming back this fall, and our goal is to get the showers put in for this upcoming winter, as well as we're hoping we can get the funds available. We need to do like mini split units. We have 4 bigger rooms that could, if we could control the temperatures in, would open up a whole lot more space for us to do more things. That building is old. It has heat and air in the sanctuary / what used to be the gym and the kitchen. That's it. Everything else is electric heater, window air conditioner, and those are not doing great. And we're looking at getting mini splits for those 4 rooms. And we've priced them at about anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 to do all 4 rooms. So not horrible, and we have the workers to do it. So keep us in prayer on those funds to come in before our guys come up this fall. So, anything else, dear? No. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions?
On your thrift shop,
Yes.
somebody wants to bring something they call NOLA?
Yes.
Like you did for donations to the Warming
Yes.
Center?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because she's in town all day when we're at work, so
Okay. And what's the
Yep.
address of that again?
201 Eldridge,
201 Eldridge. Okay.
right across from the Dalton Cemetery.
Okay.
I think I said 209.
It's okay.
Do you have any feel as to whether or not your activities are having a positive impact on the recidivity rate for those that coming out of rehab?
You mean like activities for this summer? The ones that we're talking about, or?
Yeah,
Crafts.
has your
Not at
activities,
well, Miss Nola knows a lot of the people, and they have talked to her about, hey, if we had these kind of things, so.
Yes, I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people cannot afford to pay certain amounts to reserve to do some of the other arts and crafts here. And my mission is to get a lot more people involved so that, I can make a difference. This is going to be the first year that I'm doing it along with the cooking classes. I'm going to start out with twice a month doing cooking classes and see how that goes, because I know there's a lot of people my age that can't cook. So, I want to try to offer that to people. So, I'll know by the end of this summer whether I have an impact or not.
well, we hope your activities will help those people from falling off the wagon.
Right, right, and
Keep
that's the
them from
goal.
falling off.
I want to get them involved.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you
so
do.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to our regular agenda items, public hearings, special presentations, and proclamations. And we have a proclamation declaring April 13th through the 19th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Coffeyville, and I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas emergencies that require police fire, or emergency medical services can occur at any time, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, and whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from our citizens who contact the Coffeyville Emergency Communications Center, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the Coffeyville Police Department have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in this past year, therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of Coffeyville, Kansas declares the week of April 13th through the 19th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Coffeyville in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and our citizens safe. Okay, now on to old business. We have our second reading of ordinance S-25-02, a home rule ordinance of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas relating to CRMC.
And Madam Mayor, we'll be asked to table that again. An update, I did meet with hospital administrators this last week. There are some attorneys involved trying to help expedite the specifics in this matter, so we would ask that it would be tabled again.
Okay,
I will make a motion that we table ordinance S-25-02.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Edwards to table ordinance S-25-02. Commissioner Faulkner. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Discussion and action to make an appointment to the Planning Commission. City Clerk Melissa Carter will make comments.
Mayor and Commissioners, the 7-member Planning Commission has one position available. It's for an unfinished term that expires January 1st, 2028. I received one application from Ronald Coffey, who is in attendance this evening, and would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Do you have any questions you want to tell about myself? Or?
Tell us about yourself.
My name's Ronald Coffey. I've lived in Coffeyville, Deering area my entire life. My parents lived here. My grandparents lived here. I have two children, and they both live here and work here. And so I heard there was an opening. I thought, hey, I'd like to get involved because I had vested interest in the future of this city, So it's just something I thought I'd like to try and be interested in doing.
Well, great. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
Have
wanting
you
to
had
do
an
that.
opportunity to look at the city ordinances regarding planning?
Not yet. I just did this like last week, so, but.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I will move to appoint Ron Coffey to the Planning Commission for an unfinished term expiring January 1st, 2028.
I'll
Second.
second.
Good.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Mayor Maples, to appoint Ron Coffey to the Planning Commission for an unfinished term expiring January 1st, 2028. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for
Thank
that.
you. All right. Resolution R-25-31, a resolution to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute a real estate contract by and between Bobby E. Shelton and Don R. Shelton and the city of Coffeyville. Executive Director of Public Works Jim Wright will make comments.
Good evening. This property that we're talking about is on top of Big Hill, just west of the water treatment plant. The water department has issues with water leaks in the main running up to, from the water treatment plant to the reservoirs for several years. There are currently 5 lines that are fairly close together going up the hill. So when they do have a leak, it makes it very difficult isolating which one it is and making those repairs. So we plan to replace these lines with 2 24-inch mains in order to provide enough separation for construction. The new mains will keep the old mains operational until the new ones are put in. So it was to purchase an easement or the right-of-way, and the property owner would rather us buy the property than get an easement.
Okay. All right. I see partial funding is coming from CVR as part of the
For the
environment.
project, yes, it is.
Project. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, if there's no further questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-31 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve Resolution R-25-31 as presented. Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
My paper to work. All right, Resolution R-25-32, a resolution to approve a construction contract with Ursham Construction for the relocation of sanitary sewer main. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments.
This project has to do with the Evergy substation that is going in. We request that you approve the construction contract with Ursham Construction LLC for the relocation of a sanitary sewer main on the vacated easement in the area of the new Evergy substation. The city of Coffeyville approved the vacation of the city alley easement located north of Wilcox to allow Evergy's new construction. We had 4 bidders. That was opened up on March 27th. And our recommendation from our engineering firm is to award it to the low bidder, Ursham.
And Evergy is paying.
That is correct. That is correct. Evergy is paying all expenses
Okay.
associated with this move.
All right, well, if there are no more questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-32 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Edwards to approve Resolution R-25-32 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Resolution R-25-33, a resolution to approve a design contract with BG Consultants for the 2026 KDOT Cost Share Program. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments.
Request that you guys approve the contract to design 8th Street cost share project with BG Consultants. The city of Coffeyville was awarded a 2026 cost share grant for a mill and overlay of 8th Street from Highway 166 out west, east toward Elm Street. We opened 2 bids on March 20th, and BG Consultant was the low bid. This is in conjunction, this grant, I should say, is a 84-16 split, a estimated total cost of $1.3 million, which includes engineering, inspection, and construction. And we are, Algier Martin and Associates is currently designing the water line relocation for this project.
Looking forward to getting that done.
Yes, yeah, very much so. If there's no further questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-33 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Edwards to approve Resolution R-25-33 as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution R-25-34, a resolution to approve the purchase of 2 mini excavators and accessories for the Public Service Department. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments.
As part of the city's focus on street maintenance and improvements, Public Works Department requested purchase of a pair of mini excavators with attachments to improve the method of street repairs. On January 14th, 2025, the Commissioner approved a not-to-exceed price of $330,000 for 2 new mini excavators on March 27th. The city received 10 bids. The bids were based on a set of target specifications. We did not have any of them meet our specifications, but the John Deere was the closest to meeting our specifications, and they were also the cheapest. So that's the one that we have went with that was viable for what we were needing to do. Now, in addition to this, we have an option of extending our warranties to a 5-year warranty from a 2-year warranty that they come with for $995 each. And that would be our request for a total of $222,410.
That still doesn't put us anywhere near the 330 that we approved.
Yes.
What does this unit not have that you had requested?
We requested a weight range, and none of the excavators that we had bid fell within that weight range. They were all just a little bit over or a little bit under. So this one was only, I think it was 900 pounds lighter than what we had requested. But yeah, we'd rather went on the underside than going to the overside for the weight
Okay,
on the streets.
thank you.
Move to approve Resolution R 2535 as presented.
I'll second.
We're on 34.
Oh. I am. Then I move to approve Resolution R 2534 as presented. My bad.
It's okay. Did I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, and seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to approve Resolution R-25-34 as presented.
I told you.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye. You may poke him now.
I did.
Wake him up.
You've been waiting years to say that.
Okay, now, Resolution R 25-35.
I'm in.
A resolution to approve the purchase of a compact track loader and attachments for the Public Service Department. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments.
The city's current compact loader is well past its useful life. On January 14th, 2025, Commissioners approved not to exceed price of $115,000 for a mini track loader with attachments. March 27th, the city accepted 8 bids. The low bid was from John Deere, compact track loader, Murphy tractor. My ask is the same here, with extend our warranty from 2 years to 5 years for an additional $3,860. That would be a total of $113,260, which is
Still not.
just below our original request.
Okay,
Okay, very good.
this is going to be adequate for everything you need it for.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
Now I move to approve Resolution R 2535 as presented.
And I will second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, seconded by Mayor Maples to approve Resolution R-25-35 as presented. Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. Okay, Resolution R-25-36, a resolution to approve, huh?
Excuse me, could I ask a question, Jim, before you leave the podium?
Yes, sir.
Relating back to 2532 on the sanitary sewer main, recognizing that these are not pressure lines, what's the anticipated longevity of these lines? I know the one running through the alley behind my house is 97 years old. How long might we expect these to continue to function until they start to fail?
That's what I was going to say. we have lines in town now that are probably exceed 100 years old, so I don't see any reason why these lines would not. This line currently serves a handful of homes, so I would imagine over the next 15 to 20 years, these homes will no longer be there, so that line will be not needed.
So we really don't have any kind of estimate on when we need to start replacing these lines, is that correct?
Well, this line won't have any additional homes put on it, because this is just directly west of the refinery right now, and I think the refinery is buying all the homes they can over there in that area, so there's just a handful of homes that are left that are on this line.
Well, the question was about the rest of the lines throughout the
Oh,
city.
the rest of the lines throughout town? We are having meetings right now, looking at some of that, because some of these lines are in the slow motion process of failing now. We are applying for funding to replace some of the sewer lines in the older part of town, so we are looking at that.
And storm drain lines.
We have not had any issues with storm drain lines that I know of right now, but I'm sure there are. Just have not been brought to our attention.
All right, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Resolution R-25-36, a resolution to approve purchase of one 300 kVA and one 500 kVA transformers for the electric utility. City Manager Ben Brubaker will make comments.
Thank you. Chris was planning to be here this evening and wasn't able to here last minute, so I'm stepping in on this. Still myself learning a lot of the jargon around electric, so hopefully I can answer any questions. Essentially what we have here in these two transformers is we try to keep a backstock, if you will, when things break for parts, replacement. And so both these transformers, we only have one each in stock, with both the continuous increase in costs and the time to deliver. We found through a bid process here, quotes, rather good deals that we wanted to jump on. These two transformers, to give you an example, and you have to look at the notes here, so the 300 kVA transformer is equivalent of like a Wendy's or a Pete's. A lot of commercial businesses have this kind of transformer this size. And our existing spare is going to be used by a new 4-point crane facility. Okay. The 500 kVA transformer is something that'll be like the size of our new hospital clinic coming to town. So that gives you some comparisons of what these are used for. And that existing spare that we have will be going out to the hospital there. So trying to make sure that we have things in stock for replacements as come up.
Okay. Any questions? I will move to approve Resolution R-25-36 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Edwards to approve Resolution R-25-36 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Thank you. We will now have a City Manager's report.
Thank you. I'm gonna start by two pieces from Jim here to share.
Thank you. Awesome.
Go ahead, Jim. You can talk about it too.
We are having a open house meeting at Coffeyville Regional Medical Center in the boardroom this Thursday from 5 to 7. Anybody and everybody is invited to come. It's a question-answer session to explain the project and what we're going to do. These flyers that you're holding in your hands, we attach those to all the residents in the area where the construction will be done on First and Second and 3rd Street between Buckeye and Poplar, and then on Poplar and Wilkie Street.
Say that again, please.
First and second
Got a map.
and
Map on
third.
there. Oh, I know.
It's that
There's-
neighborhood over by the hospital.
Okay, so it's all
So
over.
it's just directly
Okay.
north of the hospital and west of the hospital.
Okay.
We did meet with the hospital. They offered to let us use that room. We thought that was convenient again for residents. When we say open house, it's not a presentation. It is come in, come and go. No refreshments provided. Just come and go, ask. We'll have our engineer there. I think we'll have one engineer there.
Correct.
I will be there, Thomas will be there, Jim will be there. Love to see any commissioners that want to come. Just trying to do our best to really communicate. This is going to be a big project this summer, and it's going to impact those neighborhoods out there. And we have plans in place, both for the hospital, right? We don't want to close down, EMS for those residents. So we're trying to do our best to articulate that to folks. That's why individuals, houses out there got this notice directly. We'll put it on Facebook and invite anyone else that wants to come as well. But specifically trying to make sure the people out there that will be directly impacted by the construction are aware of what's going on.
Additionally, with this, there will be a mill and overlay of 4th Street between Buckeye and the Sycamore Creek Bridge. We anticipate there will be a 300 to 400 foot area in front of Sherwin-Williams area. That will probably have to be a total full-depth reconstruction, but right now it's just planning. We're hoping for a mill and overlay, but
We'll see.
Thank you.
You're going to let me give the really good news?
you bet.
Wow, you're very kind. This is great news.
Oh, it is. I thought maybe you would.
No, I'm serious.
Had
This
to
is good. This is good news. Everybody listen up.
I just know him.
This is good.
We must have got a grant.
Railroad crossings.
Oh, wow.
So since I've gotten here, we've talked about those. Thomas put together a massive report. We passed that on to Senator Peck. We've had a variety of conversations. I'm sure the public is out there doing their part and submitting complaints and things. Somehow or another, a audit, is that what they called it, Jim? A review?
Inspection.
An inspection, that's even better. An inspection happened, and in town, they said, go get these things done right away. So SKO Railroad verified with Jim today that they will have First Street closed, making those crossing repairs between Sycamore and Union tomorrow. That is happening tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
4th Street crossing repairs about the beginning of June, and Willow Street crossing complete rebuild also about the beginning of June.
Okay.
So this is, things that happen with the railroad are usually written in stone. Jim pushed back on this. Are you sure we're about to announce this? Is this really happening? Barring any catastrophes, this is happening, we're told. So we're really excited. These are some major crossings in town that give major impact to our residents and businesses, and we're getting repairs.
Awesome.
Again, we can't, why that inspector showed up, we'd like to think it was all the pushing of buttons we did, as well as the community, but they did, and they're here, and things are happening, so,
So 1st, 4th, and South Willow.
yeah.
Excellent.
Great.
That is good news.
Those are the three that are the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have a little bit of a perhaps sensitive subject,
Oh, here we go.
and so I've had a few complaints, and talking with both code enforcement and PD, history has shown that this should be something that comes before commission as well. So as you are coming into town on 166, as you're crossing the river, we have a tent and a lot of things out in property there. It is city property. And so, the process is that PD could go and making sure they know of services. This is someone that apparently we all know and a lot of people are aware of in town. that PD has helped with or dealt with at different situations. So before I gave the go-ahead to move forward, wanted to see if we had any overarching concerns, coming back to our focus on code enforcement and entering the city. Just before I came in here, we had another complaint of some tents in town. I think it's good timing. It's warming up, right? And so we're seeing some of those things move around town. But wanted to kind of take the temperature here of commission on action to follow ordinances and processes that already exist.
That's what they're there for.
Exactly.
To be followed.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Thank you very much. A few other updates. Tomorrow, Mayor Maples, Jim and I are headed up to visit with the Lieutenant Governor in Topeka. We'll be accompanied by representatives from the City of Independence. Lieutenant Governor is pushing regionalization of any and all, frankly, regional concerns. This one happens to be water and treatment of water. I mentioned this before. That is happening tomorrow, 1:30, and we'll keep commissioners updated on that meeting. Our Wartzilla engines, they just continue to be...
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. At this point, we're waiting on turbo cartridges and springs for number 8 and number 10, so we can get them back online. So they are not online. That is a major revenue loss for us.
Question. Do we see any significant price impact as a result of the
Yes.
tariffs?
Of the tariffs?
Yeah.
On this particular project, I don't know that we're feeling those impacts. We've been having conversations on our transformer replacement project in partnership with CRNF. That is one of my updates on here. We came to you several weeks ago and chose a bid for steel, and we have since been told that was no longer a good bid and we had to come back. So we revisited that. We went back to some of our other low bidders. There was also some changes with them. As part of this process, we also need approval for CRNF. We were kind of hoping that we would get the bids and the engineer, everything lined up, and we had that yesterday, and then we need CRNF to be able to approve that too, and they weren't able to get that done. And so there's a chance, and we're setting up a work session next week, that in that meeting we may need to do a special meeting to get still quote approved and so we can execute on it. The problem is really a timing thing here. We get a price, and to tariffs and everything else, we're seeing big fluctuations. Even before tariffs, we were seeing big fluctuations. So they're not willing to commit to hold prices. That's part of our problem because there's so much fluctuation. So we're trying to time that of approval and execution as quickly as we can. As far as the Wartzilla engines, as soon as 8 and 10 are done, of course 9 will come off, and we're hopeful that one will get done fairly quick, but we just continue to see issues. These turbo cartridges, I think it was like 57 of 67 were damaged, and we have to send those out for repairs. As mentioned, we already had issues with springs and paint, and unfortunately Wartzilla has not been extremely easy to work with in this process to help us find resolution. Continue to work with them, but needless to say, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Unfortunately, the gift you don't want. So. Some offices changed in City Hall here. Wanted to just mention to you, as most of you know, our juvenile corrections group moved up to Independence. With that, we had offices opened up, so we went in and did some cleaning and touched up paint. Our facilities crew did a great job down there, and Public Works has moved over down into that wing. And so Sue Ann and Thomas and Jim are down that other wing. So if you come to our south entrance, as you come in the south entrance, they're over to the left now instead of going to the right, where Thomas has been in engineering for a while. Also, we anticipate in the next week or so here that community development will be moving down in that same area too. Rather than down the wing, there's an office right next to it, and we'll find both our community development employees there. So if you're coming, that's where they're at. As I mentioned, so far, we have 4 commissioners that can make a Tuesday work session meeting to talk about utility rates again. Our 5th commissioner will catch up and pick up on another date to include them in on those discussions and what we're doing, and all with the hope that we can get this stuff tied up in here for decisions. I know the public has seen articles and questioning what's going on and when and how. We're trying to make sure this is done right, looking towards the future and not just reactionary. So as always, willing to have any conversations with commissioners or others outside of these regular meetings that we're housing. The PCA that we've talked about, within our current ordinance for PCA, there was already room within that to make those adjustments, so we cranked those appropriately. So I believe this bill, our folks will see that adjustment. It will be small because of the rolling 6-month. That full effect, we don't anticipate residents feeling till kind of the October, November timeframe on PCA, because we're turning it on now, but it's measuring back 6 months to some of that incorrect data. Okay. The light at 4th and Klein. Update this evening on that. We're hoping that that is fixed this week. We ran into, really it's an age and availability for parts. I had a great question by Commissioner Edwards on, hey, we took another light out, several blocks away. Is there an ability to swap parts there? And there's not because of that age. The contractor that we use for that, it's hard to find contractors that are that. We've had some pushback on if that's a good idea to switch with them because they haven't been as responsive, but as we found, not a lot of other options out there. So we're moving as quickly as we can on that. It did require ordering of parts. PD has been aware of that, supposed to be out there helping with and just making sure that's a sensitive area. It's a busy area right next to school that we're obviously concerned about. Last thing, the vacant lot at 11th and Walnut. We went out, we are getting quotes for paving that. By itself, we're at about $150,000 for what it's going to cost over there. There's some drainage issues, I think, that elevate that a little bit. Also some safety concerns right there. We're hoping to package that with 2 other parking lots we're trying to build in town, and so we're hopeful that'll get down to about the $100,000 range. That's for the 2 parks that we're talking about.
Oh, not the gravel parking lot across the street from City Hall?
No, that's been brought up, and if we're ready to bite that one off too, we haven't got a quote for that one. But the 2 parking lots we were already getting quotes on were for Sycamore and North Park.
Gotcha.
And we were trying to combine this in because it's about $50,000 just to mobilize. So if you can mobilize and get 3 parks done at one time, then that would be
Economy of
great.
scale.
So, yeah, we're about $150,000. That was more than we intended when we started this project. Of course, that will come here to commissioners for your election and whether we move forward with that.
Could we also reach out to the hospital administration and ask them if they are ready to pave the parking lot over there
We
west?
beat you to it. We've had the conversation because
when we let them dump all that gravel in there many years ago, the agreement was that they would come back and pave it, and they've never done it.
Yeah. I anticipate that's being worked on after our meeting we had last week. I don't have the full details,
Thank
but again, we went to them and said, hey, look, you have a parking lot, it has entrances, it's gravel, we're doing these roads, code anyways. We had that conversation, and they came back
Great.
with a, I'll call it potential project coming down the pipeline that
Okay.
solves that.
Thank you.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Comments from commission, staff, anybody?
I have some, but I don't need to go first if anybody else
Oh,
has
go
stuff.
for it.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm not looking for an in-depth discussion on any of these issues, but I just want to bring them up and hit them. Do we have equipment that allows us to go through I know we're putting together a street program. A lot of people in our community park behind where they have alleyways are parking behind their houses. And a lot of these folks are driving through pretty poor conditions to get to their garages and their parking structures behind their houses. Do we have a piece of equipment that allows us to go through these alleys and rejuvenate those gravel alleyways?
I'll see if Jim wants to add anything here. What I would say, to your point, we've come on, we are trying to, early on I was saying, hey, this appears to me that we have a skeleton crew with skeleton equipment doing
Sure.
skeleton work. And so as we're
Trying to scale up.
10 months into that,
Yeah.
right now I would say that both 25 and 26, the focus is on our main roads and
Sure.
then following up from all of our maintenance and repair. Is that on our list? Absolutely. One of the changes we made to pulling parks and cemetery away from public service and a lot of the extra work that they were doing is so they could focus on those areas. Sidewalks are also a concern throughout town. Of course, we've got some hopeful grants that come in. So it's on a list, but we are unfortunately having to prioritize and are
Sure.
choosing our big road projects right now. Some of these alleys, it's not just the gravel, they're also overgrown with trees.
Yep.
And you can't even access at all.
Yep.
Talking to Bobby Joe early on, the amount of work that it would take to go tackle these either at the same time or one after the other is full-time.
Yep.
And so right now, catching us up on maintenance, if you've seen, we've not been patching holes with just concrete. It's where appropriate. We're doing asphalt. That's been an education change and a training change. The equipment that we're requesting not to purchase, but to pick that open bid, because you'd already given us that approval, was on the vein of maintenance and doing it better. So unfortunately, I think of those 4 priorities, alleys and sidewalks right now are kind of at the back as we do those, but definitely on our mind.
So back to my question, do we have the equipment to rejuvenate those alleyways?
Yes and no.
Okay, so no.
We have
We do have a motor grader that we can use, but it is an extremely large motor grader. They want to get a smaller one, but looking at the cost of that right now, the answer is no. We can use it in some alleys, but I know we've had crews out, have a couple guys out clearing brush in the alleys, so we can get equipment down the alley and get trucks down the alley and put rock down. We have been doing that when we have time to spare with the guys that we have, but I don't feel we need to get rid of that large motor grader because we do have large parking lots that we need to grade occasionally.
Is a grader what you would use in that circumstance? Because what I've seen other cities use is basically a device that it basically kind of digs the gravel up and puts it back down. It's almost like a resurfacing.
Yeah, that sounds pretty high dollar to do that kind of stuff. I know you have rippers on the motor grader that you can do the same thing with, and it'll lay it
Okay.
back down. Same principle as a box blade on the back of a tractor with a
Gotcha.
set of rippers on it.
Okay.
That's basically what that is.
Speaking of alleys, 2 people that live in the 600 block of West 6th Street are asking that somebody take a look at their alley. It's apparently needing some gravel.
Say that again?
600 block of West 6th. I drove down that on my way here and I had never seen this before, but a portion of that alleyway is brick, and I hadn't seen that before.
My
That's
house
something
brick.
I've noticed.
Is it?
Our alley's brick. It's-
I've driven a lot of alleys in the last 2 or 3 months, And there are a tremendous amount of alleys in the center part of town that still have brick underneath there, and some of them even had asphalt laid over the top of the brick and then rock over the top of that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
when you go to fix some of those, it's going to run into quite an expense if you want to do it and make them
Yeah.
smooth like a street.
Gotcha. Thank you. Do we have a women's shelter in Coffeyville still? I know we used to have one.
No,
we
not
do
anymore.
No, we don't.
And this is something I hadn't even thought of for quite a few, for a long, long time. I saw somebody late last night on Facebook posting in one of the Coffeyville forums wanting to know if, apparently she'd had a domestic issue and needed somewhere to go. And we're a big enough town, in my opinion, we should have something like this.
Generally,
And,
those are sponsored by somebody.
and I get that, but maybe we need to be trying to find somebody to sponsor,
Correct,
you
yeah,
know,
that's it.
such a
And
facility.
the other thing is, if someone here is needing something, to be away from
Yeah.
their abuser, they're taken to a facility elsewhere. They're
Yeah.
not taken here in Coffeyville.
Okay, that's not how it used to be, but that makes more
That's
sense.
that's how it's been,
That makes
because
more
the
sense.
shelter in Coffeyville didn't have Coffeyville
Put the
people.
people in it. They had people from out of town brought in.
Then I
That
guess,
way you don't know,
Where
the
you
abuser
are.
doesn't know where that
They are.
person is.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I've never abused anybody, so I wouldn't know.
But that's how
In all,
they generally work.
in all seriousness, though, I referred this person, I gave him the non-emergency number at the police department.
Absolutely.
So I guess my question would be, is there a protocol when people find themselves in that circumstance for them to follow to get to a facility somewhere else?
I would
believe
think the
PD.
police would know
Yeah.
where
Okay.
those shelters were.
Yeah. Because that's how it was, even when we had the one here.
We might want to find a way to,
Yeah.
we might want to find a, if
Yeah.
that does
Yeah.
exist, we might
Yeah.
want to occasionally put that out there so that people know that they can at least go, oh, you know what, I saw something on Facebook, and they know who to reach out to in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Because this person was apparently in dire straits and needed help, and it's, late at night, early in the morning, and,
I think this is from what I've seen, not just that situation, from mental health, from abuse, from, homeless. There's such a variety anymore in society of issues that are out there, and unfortunately, our police department is not the,
catch-all.
Yeah, they're not trained for those either.
Right.
We have that often here in City Hall too, where
Yeah.
we're trying to understand. We have services, of course, we know the services that are in town. My estimation is that those are either not specific enough often, or they're, they become overwhelmed at a certain
Yeah.
time, because it may be everybody. Of course, we recommend reaching out to churches and other nonprofit groups too.
Yeah.
That isn't as known. I think that's the community that goes to those churches, and I think it's a great point. See something, jump on there.
Yeah.
You're right.
Tell these people where there's other things that you know of, if that's your pastor, your church, your support group. I think as a community, outside of somebody creating that, we need to be vocal in, just like the warming center, what are our opportunities out there for people, and letting people get on there and know what those are. So hopefully
we-
there were some folks that reached out to that board.
Can we check into that situation and at the very least, just make sure that there is something that exists for these people that are in this circumstance, and at least try to, promote what that procedure would be if people find themselves in that circumstance?
You mean of domestic
Yeah.
abuse? I can ask PD what their normal
See what they,
recommendations
yeah,
are.
see what they do. Wow, railroad crossing on South Willow, that's already been talked about.
You're welcome.
Good job. We need a storm shelter for people with pets. There are people in this town, and frankly, I'm one of them, that will die in their house with their pets, because there is not a single place in our town where a person can go and take their cat or dog with them.
Absolutely.
And I think
The
it,
churches won't allow it. Most
They
churches
don't have that.
we won't allow it. We won't allow people
No,
to come into this
no,
building with an
The
animal.
school don't, and the school doesn't, the schools don't, but I thought,
I think most of them said no pets.
there were 2 locations on there that didn't say.
Yeah, the churches didn't specify
That's
whether
right.
they would take pets or not. I'm happy to reach out to the ones
Yeah.
that have offered to be storm shelters to see if that is something that they will allow, and if it is, we can update our form.
Because that's the
would-
only ones I know of.
We
that-
need to find a way to solve this. Because if we don't, and we get hit by a tornado one of these days, and it's just a law of averages, the longer you go without one, the sooner you're going to get one. We are going to have people die in their homes because this was a simple issue that we could have solved, and we just didn't give it any attention. And I really feel that we need to, if we need to sweeten the pot with a few of these folks to try to get them to allow people to bring in a pet, then maybe we do that, but
I mean, I understand some of the
I
reasoning.
do too. You don't want a whole bunch of people with dogs in a small area,
Well, you don't
never
know how the
do-
dogs are gonna get along with
I-
each other,
I-
and that can be a real issue, and I get that.
I do too, and that's why, 12 years ago when I was a commissioner, and we were talking about, remodeling this building, my suggestion for the basement was to put some kennels down there and turn it into basically a storm shelter area that people could bring pets. Well, they didn't do that, and they did what they did, but I just feel like we could find a way to do this, and if we need to give a grant to somebody this summer to maybe buy some kennels or build some kennels in the basement of their building to let people put their animals in there while they sit there and wait out a storm. But I'm telling you, if we don't do something about this, we're running the risk of getting hit by a tornado one of these days, and we're going to have citizens die in their houses because they're not leaving their pets behind, and they've got nowhere to take them.
So on a similar but separate note than that, someone that is not from the Midwest and used to tornadoes, and I don't have a shelter myself yet, but I grew up watching the movie Twister, and if you take your belt and you tie it to like a pipe,
Yeah.
you don't
Good
go
luck
anywhere.
with
Does that work here in the Midwest?
Did you forget the part of the movie where the cows are flying through the air?
They
That
didn't have a
doesn't
belt
normally
tied
happen.
around them to a pipe.
I would like to see, and I spoke with the mayor about this on the phone earlier today. I would like to see us hire a certified economic developer to work full-time on city staff under the city manager. I would envision this person being the point person for, economic development in our town, whether it would be going out and recruiting new industry and business into our town, or working with existing business and industry to expand. We need to think outside the box as a community where it comes to generating new jobs. We're doing what everybody else is doing. That doesn't make us stand out. I really feel like, for many years I said I'd like to see us hire somebody that just writes grants. And man, I got laughed at for the better part of 2 decades. And then we got an interim city manager in here last year, and he said, golly, why don't we have a grant writer? And he hired a grant writer, and she wrote almost $7 million worth of grants last year that we received. And some positions, they pay for themselves. They're not they're not really, in the grand scheme of things, an expense. I would even say that about a city manager. You get a good city manager who saves you money. They're not an expense. And, so far I would classify you as that kind of a city manager. You've saved us a lot of money in a lot of different ways.
Count that as my annual review? Is that...
It'll be taken into consideration. But I'd like to know what the rest of the commission feels about us hiring, advertising and trying to hire a certified economic developer.
You want to know now what we think?
If not now, then maybe at the next meeting.
Well, I'd be interested in knowing what does certified mean and what's the price tag for someone that's quote certified or someone that has been working in that position but's not certified. I mean, what's the,
Well, when you're certified, you've gone through a certification process. It's kind of, it's a specialty training in the field of economic development. The last person that the city of Coffeyville had employed, I believe, that was a certified, you're smiling. The last person that we had here that was a certified economic developer was Leroy back in the 90s and early 2000s. But it's essentially training and in-depth education in that specific field. And as far as the price, the direct answer to your question is, frankly, you're probably looking at about what you pay a city manager or an electric department manager. But I would come back and say, what's the price of not having one? You don't know. We need somebody out there beating the bushes every day of the year. And that guy is smart and he's somewhat capable, but I feel like we need a specialist to get out there and put us out there and really go after every possible lead. And I know that we're in MAC, and I'm not saying that we get out of MAC. I don't want to disengage with Montgomery County Action Council, but I've spoken with you all off the record, so to speak, and I know there's always been a concern, how much is MAC looking out for Coffeyville as compared to the other communities? And if we have our own person that can work in conjunction with MAC when they need to, we don't ever have to worry about it. Are we getting, are we at the top of the list, or are we second or third fiddle? We're always going to be number one because we've got our own person that we're paying to do it. Is it going to be cheap? I'm not going to lie to you. No. It's not. The salary is going to be the equivalent of a city manager or somebody that's running a very big department, but it's a specialized field and you get what you pay for. And if you don't have one, you get what you get, which is you just wait for the apple to fall out of the tree and hope it lands in your lap. So I just thought I would bring that up. Don't need an answer tonight, but it's food for thought.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah, that's all I have.
You have anything?
I have a name and a phone number that I will give you after the meeting to contact, and might be able to shed some light on this topic.
Anything else?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. So we will have an executive session to discuss confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets. I move to recess to executive session
I didn't even see that.
to discuss confidential data related to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships as permitted by KSA 75-4319B4 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the city attorney, city manager, and director of finance for a period of 10 minutes, and reconvene in the commission room at 7:55.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Sorry.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster, to recess to executive session to discuss confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships as permitted by KSA 75-4319B4 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the city attorney, city manager, and director of finance for a period of 10 minutes, to reconvene in the commission room at 7:55 p.m. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Okay. taken at this time.
Can I say one thing before we adjourn?
Yes, please do.
Your new, what's Ashley's title? Tapman? Wow.
Say that out loud. If you haven't seen our video,
Yeah.
go watch
They're
it.
good. I saw the
They're very
video.
good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very good. You did a great job when you did it. I'm just saying that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, but I know you've got a lot to do.
Yes,
And
yes.
so you are
There's a-
probably relieved.
This is her area of expertise, so
yes.
she can take the communication
But
to a
you-
level of where it
you
needs
did
to
a
be
good
for the
job.
city. So I'm very
But
happy that
she's-
she is
And
here.
it frees you up to do city clerk stuff
Yes,
Yeah.
and
yes.
not have a
Yes.
pile of work on your desk at 8 in the morning every day when you come back to
Yes.
work.
Lots of processes to be addressed, lots of things that can now get done with that off my plate. So I'm
Right,
very
right.
excited she's here. It's
But
amazing.
yes, Dawn, she is doing a very good
Yeah.
job.
Yes.
And,
And thank you for what you did while you were doing it.
Thank you.
12,000 followers is huge. It's an
That's neat.
astronomical achievement.
That's
Yep, yep.
okay,
all righty. I will make a motion to adjourn.
and I will second.
Motion's made by Mayor Maple, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.